Always awesome. We're gonna record a session just in case whoever's gonna miss the session can watch it afterwards. Thanks for joining everybody. Our bi-weekly commercial virtual meeting still going and still keep pushing forward. We have a special guest, Sean, with AIR CRE. Sean, how do you spell your last name? How do you pronounce your last name?
Pullin, Pullin.
Pullin, got it. Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure. I'm not gonna mess it up.
No problem.
So good to have you. This is a very diverse commercial group, and again, some will keep joining us, and others will will watch the session afterwards.
No problem.
So stage is yours. If you want to share more about yourself, and we'd love to talk about whatever you see fit.
Absolutely. All right. I'll just kind of run right into it. So again, my name is Sean Pullin with AIR. I've been with AIR for 15 something years at this point. I've done a lot of the different various jobs that they have available here, and eventually landed myself in this position, educating folks like yourselves about what we do and how you can benefit from our services. There's a lot that I want to cover here today. It is a lot of information. I will make sure I'll talk with your team to make sure you all have my contact information. So afterwards, if you do want to reach out to me specifically and set up a one-on-one session, I'm happy to do so. Whatever you guys want to learn about, whatever you want to talk about, feel free to reach out to me either through phone or email, and we can discuss that. I will actually, let's do this right now while I'm rambling on here. I'm going to put my email and my phone number in the chat window here, so you guys have that available. I can write that down. Whoops. And then what I kind of want to cover today is just about AIR. I know a lot of you know us for one reason or another, but I want to make sure you have an idea of everything that we do offer for our members, as well as those who are not members. There's a lot of free services that we offer to the commercial community as a whole. At our core, AIR is a nonprofit trade association. So we're doing what we can to assist the commercial community, not just our members, and making sure that they're getting all the benefits. We want to help everybody that we can. What I'll do here, I'm going to share my screen. Let me make sure I have all the windows open up.
Yeah, I was just about to mention, Sean, that let's make sure that you can share your screen or whatever you want to share with us.
It pop up there right now for you.
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. And then if you do have questions while we go, feel free to put them in the chat box. I'll try to keep an eye on that. Or if you want to call things out as they do come up, I'm happy to answer questions as they arise. But first and foremost, I want to just, again, kind of talk about some of the basics here. So first, AIR, we like to promote that we are more. What we really mean by that is there are, again, a lot of folks in the industry who know us for one reason or another. The main thing people know us for is the AIR contracts. And the commercial world has really become the standard of business over the years for lease and sale agreements. There's about 50 or so documents that are available to our users of that service. To reiterate again, for the contract specifically, you do not have to be a member of AIR. That is a service that is open for anybody, whether you are just an attorney working in Sacramento or you are an agent working in Orange County. You can utilize our contracts for your business as need be. I'm sure a lot of you also know about accessing that information through zip forms as well. I'll talk about that in a little bit just to kind of let you know about what the differences are with their service and ours, as well as kind of the cost differences that are there as well. But with AIR, for those who are members, we offer a lot of services. There's prospecting services where we have a database of ownership information. So if you're looking to get phone numbers to start making calls for owners to solicit your services to them, you're happy to do so. We have the listing database. We've got comp information. We have the contract and legal resources. There's networking. There's education. There's demographics reports. All kinds of stuff that we do. And again, happy to discuss that at a different time where you really want to dig into all the stuff we do offer. But it's always important to reference this up front, as a lot of people in the industry, they know us for one reason or another. They just don't know everything that we do provide for our members. A real quick history lesson for you. So AIR, we started back in 1960 based out of Los Angeles. Again, nonprofit trade association. We have definitely expanded our borders beyond LA. At this time, we now cover Ventura County, Los Angeles, Orange County, Riverside, and San Bernardino County. And then as far as property data, a lot of people know us for specifically industrial business, warehouses, manufacturing, things like that. That is due to our history. When we started back in the 60s, it was industrial only. That has definitely changed over the last 15 or 20 years. So there's a lot that we do now for industrial, office, retail, and the land properties. So there's just a ton of stuff that we offer for listings, very, very comparable with, CoStar, LoopNet, Crexi, all those other services out there. We've got about 500 total firms and about 1,700 total members that are part of the association at this point. And it is split very 50-50 down the middle in the terms of the larger firms, like the real big commercial firms, CBRE, Lean Associates, and then smaller independent firms, boutique shops as well. There's a really good representation across the board. With the research and listings, so this is obviously a huge part of the puzzle. So we have about 40 people who are part of our research team. They are working proactively to verify listings, adding that information in there. So you guys, if you are a member, you can go in there, you can search for information, you can find listings for your clients, you can look up data just to see if make sure your pricing of your properties is correct. There's a lot of data that is available for you. One thing to mention here is that anybody who has a listing, you can send that to our research team. There is no cost to put listings into our database. It is just when you want to see the information and run searches yourself, that is when you do need to become a paying member. So something you always keep in mind, if you've got a listing, no matter what kind of property type it is, feel free to send that over to us. We will add that information in the system for you, so you don't have to worry about doing data entry. You can do things that are more important. I'm going to add in that chat box again, make sure I spell this right. There's an email address where you can send your listing information to, and again, we'll take care of all of that for you. But once the listings are in the system, what we do every 4 weeks, everybody that we work with will reach out to them just to continue to verify that information. I'm sure a lot of you these days, you might be utilizing LoopNet or other services out there that are free. There's a big problem in the industry where people are not updating their data. You might go to LoopNet, you run a search, you see 10 listings, and maybe only 4 or 5 of them are actually available and on the market. These are great services for marketing purposes. So brokers, they realize, I don't have to take it out of that database. If I'm going to get leads and my phone's going to ring, then why am I going to take that out? I'll just continue to pay, I'll get leads, and then I'll look at other services for actual listings. But what we do is we try to fight against that. So we are consistently reaching out just to continue to verify that, yes, this is still active and available, it's on the market, and if there's price that needs to be changed, if new listings need to be added, whatever the case may be, we can handle that right then and there. So again, anybody, whether they're members or not, will reach out to them to verify that information. Now, one of the big differences between us and CoStar, for example, is that those who are members, there is a required orientation that you must go through to learn about the rules of professional conduct and the bylaws of the association. Some of those rules do pertain to how the listings are handled. So very similar to how the CRMLS operates. If you have a new listing, if it's leased or sold, you have to let AIR know within a 14-day period so that we can update that information. Our goal is to have not only the most information, but the most accurate information. So because our members are supporting us in that way to make sure that we have that data up to date, it really helps on our end. It makes the data cleaner, it makes it more confident that you're running searches and seeing good information. Now, due to our history, a lot of those members, they are industrial focused agents. So that is why you might hear in the industry, we are the go-to for industrial specifically. That doesn't mean our other data is that. What it does is because those industrial folks are consistently submitting data to us, sending us listings, making sure we have all the right information, it opens up our resources for our research team to call the other agents, the retail agents, the office agents, those other folks out there who have listings, to continually update and verify their information. So there's a really powerful symbiosis going on of everybody working together to make more business happen for everybody involved. Our goal at the end of the day is to make deals. We want you to do deals. We want you to make money. We want you to move on to the next deal. We want you to make more money. That is the goal. We cannot do that if we have bad information. If you go and you run a search and you're seeing bad listings, it will happen. I guarantee you there's never going to be 100% accuracy, but we do what we can to make sure that you get good data and have good leads on listings for your clients. So it's just something that we really strive for to ensure that we have good, powerful information for our members. We are also researching comps. So for sale comps specifically, I know I only mentioned industrial, land, office, and retail for listings. We don't do a lot on the apartment sector. If you're doing things with multi-unit housing or apartments, we don't get a lot of listings for that. However, for sales comps, we are researching all sales that happen in the marketplace no matter what. And if it's a commercial building flagged in the 5 counties that we cover, we will get that data, we will research that accordingly, and we will add that into the system so you have those research components available to you. So what we're doing, we're getting those sale prices either straight from the agents and then reconfirming with that county data, or we're utilizing that county information for that. And then we are also researching the ownership information. We want to verify who is the new owner of that property, what is their name, what is their phone number, not just an LLC or a corporation. We want to find out what's the actual person's name. So you can make those calls, you can call them directly. Hopefully that'll help you get some business done there as well. So it's just, again, a whole collective of information that we are providing for our members beyond just the contracts, the listings, and all that stuff. We are also researching the lease transaction data. We're not getting full lease comps, as you guys, I'm sure, are very well aware. That's not really a product available in the industry, as it is extremely valuable. A lot of the firms, they do not share that information with anybody. So what we are at the very least able to provide is a transaction record. So it's a lead for you to contact someone. They may be more willing to share information with you on a one-to-one basis. That's another important part of just the overall business, is networking. Knowing who you're working with is sometimes half the battle. So getting your name and information out there, they'll share some information with you. Maybe down the road, you can share some information with them. It just, you pat my back, I'll pat yours down the road kind of thing. But at the very least with the leases, we'll have obviously an address, who are the agents on record for that lease, what the asking rate was, maybe the final lease date, maybe a tenant that's moving in. But the really important stuff, the real valuable information, the lease rates, the final lease rates, I should say, escalations, terms, things of that nature. That's stuff that you'll have to go and research from calling those agents and see if they're sharing that information with you. But we have what we can get. Sometimes people do share that information. I just want to be very upfront that it's not very common that we will have those full details in the database here. I'm going to, again, keep moving on here just to kind of respect your guys' time. But if you do have questions, feel free to ask away in that chat window, and I'll make sure that we answer those as they come up. Moving on here to the AIR contracts. So with the AIR contracts, again, there's a couple ways you can access this information. If you go straight to AIR, we have our own software that we utilize. You download and install that to your computer. And then it has a credit system, which is kind of like a prepaid phone card where you use the credits as you go. As you're working on deals and you need to finalize a copy of the document for signatures, that is when your account is charged for those credits. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm not going to talk about that because it can get confusing, but feel free to reach out to me about that specific piece if you are curious. Now, we also have the AIR contracts available through CAR and through the zip form system. There's a couple key differences in here. First and foremost is the way that the system functions. With our system, you do have a much more ease of use where it is very much designed like Microsoft Word. If you want to type in the document, you just click, you start typing, and you put in whatever additional text that you want to add into that document. You don't have to add an addendum or whatever that might be. You just start typing into the document. It will show up in there so everybody knows what's going on in a nice red text. And then also, if you need to do any strike-throughs of any language, very simple process. You highlight that, you click a button, and it strikes it out. So it's just a real simple to use tool that'll make your life a lot easier, especially when you start getting into tricky deals where you do have to make those kind of edits and changes to documentation. Now, the other aspect is the AIR, or I'm sorry, the zip forms. That is an online service where our system is a downloadable software. I totally understand the convenience of having an online system where you can log in from anywhere. We are working towards developing a system for that. However, it's going to take some time. It's in the very early stages right now. It might be a year or two before that really comes to fruition, but it is coming. And so you keep an eye out for that specifically. So the last big difference here is going to be the cost. So you're all with the Keller Williams commercial division. I'm sure you're all, again, you're commercial professionals. You're doing this. This is your main focus is here. So with the zip form system, it is $200 to get access to the documents on a per year basis. So if you're, say, doing this for the next 10 to 20 years, you're somewhere around $2,000 to $4,000 to get access to those documents through CAR. With the AIR document system, it's a couple scenarios. If you are the only person in your office that is downloading this software, it is a $600 to purchase and download the software. That does include credits, which again are used as you go. With your initial purchase, you would probably get anywhere from about 20 to 30 transactions completed with that initial $600 purchase. Once you run out of those credits, you just purchase more credits as you go. A standard credit is $1.50 for a credit. A standard lease or sale agreement is going to be $6 to print out that final copy of that document. So if you're working on a sale, you can do as many draft copies as you need to. Once it's finally ready for signatures, that is when your account is charged for those 6 credits. So it's about $10 for a document. So in the long term, if you are paying for 10 years now, you're paying $200 a year to CAR for their system, you're up to $2,000 for that. If you're spending $2,000 on the AIR contract and using that many credits, good for you. That's a lot of deals in 10 years. That is not something to be shy about, and I would shout that off the rooftops. But it is very likely that you'll probably be closer to maybe, $1,000, maybe $1,200. So in the long term, you're going to save yourselves a lot of money by utilizing our system. Additionally, there are some discounts. So if there is somebody at your office who is a member, they have to be at your specific office. So if you work at Keller Williams Tustin, or if there's a Glendale office, whichever the specific office is, if there is a member at that office already, or there is someone who has already purchased the contract software at that office, you can then purchase the contract system from AIR for $300. In that scenario, it would include 100 credits, like $1.50 per credit going forward. So what I always recommend, contact me and my team. We'll verify if you would be able to get that discounted rate. And if you want to move forward with it, we can make sure that that happens for you. But it's always worth checking in if you are interested in moving forward with that. But at the end of the day, again, if you're 10 to 20 years that you plan to be in this business and you're paying CAR $200 a year, definitely worth considering to save yourself money in the long run, as well as getting more editing capabilities for the documents that you are working on. A couple other things to run through here. News and education. So I'm going to close this out here. So on our website, there are some important things I want to make sure to point out for you. There's a lot of really powerful resources on our website. If you go to AIRCRE.com, once you get to that page, up at the top, there's going to be a lot of these tabs you see here with different pieces of information. If you do want to learn more about the contracts, there is a lot of stuff available there. But what I want to show here is the news and education section up in the top middle. Once you click that, if you scroll down that page, there is a lot of free content available here for you. There is research insights for the industrial sector. Here's a webinar that was done, increasing property values through Energy Star certification. These are all anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour long. A good majority of this information is completely free for the public to access. So you can go to our website, you can go through these, you can get a lot of really powerful educational pieces in here. Here's one about tax planning. You can just scroll down the list, find out what you're interested in, click on that and move forward and watch a short video about those details. Now, there are also some paid webinars in here. There's 2 that are really educational that I want to point out here. So if we go up to the top here, on the left-hand side under the menu, if you go to where it says select a category, the very top option, AIR CRE contracts, click there. From there, it will start to load up some additional webinars. These are paid for webinars. They're anywhere from an hour to 2 hours long. They are taught by 2 of our attorneys that have been working with AIR for about 20 years. They know the ins and outs of these documents better than almost anybody out there. But the 2 important ones here, if you scroll down here, the common misunderstandings in purchase and sale agreements from November 23rd, and then the most common misunderstandings in lease contracts. These are incredibly valuable. If you click that link, it will open up a quick preview of what is in there. It's $49 to get access to this video. This one in particular is just about 2 hours, just under 2 hours long. And it just goes over a lot of the general details and best business practices for when you are working on these lease deals. Again, incredibly valuable information. You can watch it as you need to, but just know that this is here. If you want to check back every month just to see if we have new details in here, we are constantly updating this website with new information. So always refer back to this. The other thing that I want to show here is the events and sponsorships. We do a lot of events throughout the year. We just had our annual golf tournament last week, which was great. Superb opportunity for networking. Have some fun, meet some people in the business. Maybe you'll lead down to a deal down the road. But I also want to point out here, let's see, right here, the in-person contract strategy seminar. So what this is a full day educational session. It's about 7 to 5. It covers the lease documents as well as the sale documents all in one sitting. Super, super educational. The two guys I talked about, their names are Brian Mashian and John Pagliasotti. They're the two that run this. They make sure that you know what's going on. It gives you the opportunity to also ask questions. You can see kind of the breakdown of what's going on. You can see the pricing information. This particular time, let's see, it's November 2nd that this will be held, and it is going to be held in Torrance. So you can see all the information there. It's a long day, but it's really, really, really educational. There are people who have been in the business 20, 30 years who come back to this just to get a refresher, and you'll always learn something new. There's laws that are always changing, so it's just a good way for you to stay on top of your game and to always be the smartest person in the room.
Hey, Sean, real quick, how do you access there? How did you get there again?
So AIRCRE.com is the main webpage, and then you want to go to where it says events and sponsorship up at the top. What I'll do right now for this one in particular, I'll just paste this into that chat window again. And feel free, play around with the website. There's just a ton of information in there. All right, so let's move on to some other free tools here. So here is a website called commercialexchange.com. This is a service that we provide to Southern California for you to find listing information completely free and available to the public to access. So if at the end of this call, you know, maybe 3 months down the road, you want to go forward with membership, maybe you don't. But you can always refer back to this website. You can find information for listings that are available. The information that you are going to see in this website, these are only the listings that are provided from AIR members. So I know I talked that we have a database for our members that shows member listings and non-members listings. So this one right here, this is our main database where you can see all of the information. But if we go to Commercial Exchange here, that is going to show you just listings from members. So for example here, if I select property type of office and I pick the city of Anaheim and hit search there, the web page is going to load up with listings for the city of Anaheim. You can go through, this is completely free. You can find listings, you can contact the brokers. If you've got a client looking for something, feel free to poke around. Maybe you find what you're looking for. Like I talked about earlier with LoopNet, sometimes it is unfortunately really out-of-date information, and we're trying to combat against that. This is only going to show you a very small portion of our overall listings, but it's more than nothing. So it's really, really good service to keep in your back pocket just in case you want to take a look at it and utilize. But real simple, you run your search, you've got a lot of different parameters you can enter up here if you're looking for a certain size. If you want something for sale or for lease, you can put in pricing information. You can break this down as you would expect for a listing service. Very, very simple system. This, just so you have some background here. So Commercial Exchange was launched about 3 or 4 years ago. The company that built this system is called Catalyst. They've been around for about 20 years. We started working with them about 5 years ago. It's been a really good partnership. But last January, they were purchased by Moody's Analytics. I'm sure you recognize that name. Moody's is a giant corporation, and they have a ton of information on buildings across the country. So what they are doing is they are working with Catalyst to build this system to compete with CoStar on a nationwide level with LoopNet. So they are putting a lot of money and marketing dollars into the system so that it becomes a more prevalent source of information. So you may start seeing that pop up on the Google systems when you're running searches and things like that, but it's there available for you. Keep this in mind. Now, the other system, this again is going to be our main research database. There is a ton of information in here. All of the different colorful pins you see on the map, those are different property types. If I go up to the type here, up in the top left, you can see a breakdown of what each of those mean. Now, the system is what we refer to as a property system. So the properties are loaded in first. The listings and the comps are all added on top of that. So like I was talking about with the ownership data, if you wanted to zoom down into a particular market, let's say I'm going to look at office buildings. I'm going to go over in this area. I just want to get kind of in the Bellflower market. I can draw on the map I want to go from Somerset to Lakewood to the 91 to the 605. I want to get this square right here. I want all those buildings. I can then take that, I can export that into an Excel file. It'll have phone numbers. You start plugging away, working for your business to try to find something for your clients or to represent them for their needs going forward. So there's a lot of just easy, simple tools in here, but the ownership information is obviously the first big piece that's available. The additional services in here, if you click on any of these properties here or the pins, you can get a quick breakdown. As you see on the right side of the page, you've got some photos, you've got details on the available listings. If there's historical information with past leases or sales, that shows up there. We can also expand this here and get property information. If you click that parcel number, that will take you straight out to the assessor website for that particular building. And as we scroll through, you got a lot of other details there available as well. One key thing I want to point out here is up, oh, actually they moved the button on me, it's down on the bottom, I keep forgetting. So you've got this button here that says view details. Once you click view details, it is going to show you the information in a different format. So as we scroll through, we've got the details, the listings, the historical data, the tenant information, some contacts for ownership. But what I want to point out just in this moment here is on the end of the page here, there's a button that says property report. Every single property in the system has this button that will allow you to produce additional reports. So if we scroll to the right here, these are property specific. It's not listings, it's not comps, it's just about the property. So if you want to get demographic information, you can get that. You can get this map here with the retail logos. You can get some traffic count information. You've got just a lot of additional reports in here. So if you're working with clients and you have a need for those kind of pieces, that data is there and available for you too. So I know I keep referring back to this, but the "We Are More" slogan I talked about up front, I hope you understand now. There is a lot involved with AIR and what we do provide for our members. There's a ton of information in here. There's also analytic data. There is email marketing services. There's just tons of stuff in here. Real quick, just so you can see, we're approaching about half an hour. So I want to, again, respect your guys' time here, open up for some questions. But real quick with the email service here, up at the very top, you have this button here for emails. So the way that this system works is that when it was launched a few years ago, AIR took all of the emails, anybody they have worked with over the years, added them into the system to receive these marketing emails from the members. At the time, you know, it was thousands of people. Not everybody wants this. Over time, people are going to unsubscribe. At this point, the recipients is about 5,500 to 6,000 people receive these emails on a day-to-day basis throughout Southern California. You have the comfort of knowing that these are people AIR has worked with. This includes agents, brokers, property managers, developers, owners, even appraisers are involved in there. But it's a lot of really simple stuff and really good information that you can then quickly broadcast out to the community, either your listings or if you have a client looking for something. The important thing here beyond just who receives it is who opens it. And so if we look at this open column here, you've got the recipients column and then the open column. And anywhere from about 1,500 to 2,000 people are opening these emails to look at these listings. That is a huge number to be at. If we click on this one here, this is a Keller Williams agent from the Inland Empire. 35% of the people opened this email. You can't see the full email, but you can see at least a little bit of what it is down below, and you have the comfort of knowing, again, you've got Lean Associates, Allied CRE, Stratton International. These are all definitely commercial brokerage houses. And, you know, it just gives you the peace of mind of knowing these are going to people that are in the business. So you, again, you've got two options to send out emails here. So if you have a client looking for something, maybe you've got something really strange. Many years ago, we got a call, someone was looking for an arcade on a pier. We didn't have any luck finding that, but you know, there's things out there. And if you want to give it a try, feel free to do so. All you need to do, click the button up at the top that says needs and wants. You say, you know, I'm looking to purchase a property. I need a retail building. I'm looking for a restaurant. Scroll down below. I'm looking in Orange County. You can add more areas if need be. We'll just send it to those markets. You put in your title, need a restaurant with a drive-through and 30 parking spaces. Maybe it's a 1031 exchange and you need to move quick. Whatever you think is necessary to put in there and express to the recipients, add that information in. Once it's all dialed in, ready to go, click submit at the bottom of the page. That will start to then be sent out to that brokerage community over the next hour. So very quickly, you're getting in contact with a lot of people. And if they have what they're looking for, they'll contact you. You don't have to worry about that. It's one of those things where it's just send it out to the masses, see what sticks, and hopefully someone will get back to you and be able to help you get that deal done. The other option here is for your listings. So up in the top right where it says listing broadcast, if you select there, from this page, you just pick the listing you want to send. So I'll pick this property on Vine Street and click next. Going down, I pick the listing. If you send us a brochure for your property, we can attach that as well. Click next again. I'm just going to add in the subject line some additional text, but all of the message text and information is set up for you. You can definitely change that if need be. Next, one final time. You've got all of the property details. You've got your contact information down at the end there, all the safe unsubscribe details, so you don't have to worry about can't spam acts and all that stuff. Very simple, very easy way to get in contact with a few thousand people. Real easy process. One of the beauties of the system is that those who do receive these emails, they can designate what they want. Even people who are not members can say, you know what, I only care about office buildings in Ventura County. Don't send me anything else. You just go to your preferences and you set the system up accordingly. So it gives you the ability to really dial in what you are looking for and what your needs are. Okay, I know again, I've been rambling here for a good 30 minutes almost. Any other general questions that anybody wants to ask? I can talk about pricing, but I want to make sure if you have any questions beyond that, that we answer those as well.
Awesome presentation, Sean, that's for sure. It's a pretty amazing tool. And I know that you kind of squished an hour to 30 minutes, and it's okay, no rush. Guys, questions? By the way, anybody on the call is using AIR CRE? I think some of you. No, or not yet.
I recognize a couple names of people I've talked with in the past.
Yeah.
That have maybe using us in one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm happy to run through some other stuff if you guys just want to see more things in here. I just want to respect your guys' time. I know if you want to discuss a little bit, please don't hesitate. You've got me for an hour. I just want to make sure I don't bog you down. Sometimes because it is so much information that you might forget everything I talked about in the first 20 minutes.
Question.
Sam, go ahead.
Yes. You said that you can look up property owners' phone numbers. Can you show an example on that one?
Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to just continue. We'll do the same one I was just doing a minute ago. So I'm going to draw that shape on the map here. And we'll call this our target area for some farming. And then I want to select the type of office. You do have to be under a certain number of properties. This is perfect. We've got about 82 properties. All you need to do from this point, you can click on each individual property and you can scroll down through the highlights. You can see who might be the owner for that property right there. In this case, we've got Dennis Moran, but you can also go and just click up in the top left corner under the location button, select check all. Directly next to that, select create report. And then from here, you want to click the top middle area where it says Excel and the AIR line. That's the one that's going to give you all of that information. Once I click generate report, it's going to start to build out that Excel file. And then we'll open that up so you guys can see what that looks like as well.
How many can you add in a list at one time?
So the limit's going to be 250 at a time, but you're more than welcome if you want to go market by market and really get, a couple thousand, whatever you need to. There's no limit on that specifically. It's not like you're going to get stopped and told you can't, you've reached your limit for the day, that kind of thing. It's just on a moment by moment basis, you're limited to 250 at a time, which in most cases should be a pretty good list to work on. All right, so here is that Excel report. On the left, I'm going to zoom in a bit here. On the left, you've got just address details. As we scroll through, you've got the market information, property size, land size, year build data, that kind of stuff. And then very quickly here, right after the zoning, you've got column R and column S. So that's going to be the legal owner information. That's the stuff we're getting through county title records. It's good data, but not what we're looking for here. So if we go a little bit further here, columns T through V is where the true owner information, T being the name and V being the phone number. And so you can see there's a lot of good names and phone numbers in there. what I always recommend, especially if you're working a certain property type as well as a certain area, sort this by their name. Maybe you'll find somebody who they've got 5 properties in that local community and you're trying to sell something. They're the investor you want to go after. You want to find them, you want to talk to them. If they're just individual folks in here, those might be the people who you want to reach out to say, hey, the market's crazy right now. If you're looking to make some money and pull out some deals and put it in your pocket, those are the folks you want to contact there. I'm sure with your guys' real estate brains, you can think of a lot more ways to dice this information up, but it's definitely there and available for you.
Okay. And
Go ahead.
so this is the one that you pay $200 a month, like that includes this.
So this would be it depends on the scenario. So for a single membership, it would be $250 a month for the membership. There's also a $200 initiation fee, and so essentially for that first year, you would be looking at $3,200 total. Again, it's set up in an office by office basis. So if there are more individuals out of a certain office, again, for example, if we say, you've got 3 people out of the Keller Williams Anaheim office that are members, we do have a tiered pricing structure based on how many members are joining, where if it's anywhere from 2 to 5 people at an office, it would go down to $225 per person. And then if it's 6 or greater, it goes down to $200 per person for the membership dues.
Okay.
And then, Kim, I see your question here about being able to access free forms. There aren't any really free forms that we offer. If you're talking about the contracts, that would be something where you do have the ability to see the documents. So if we go to our website here, we go to AIR contracts, and you scroll down to list of contracts, you can go through, and any of these agreements, you can click on those, and so you can see what the language looks like, what's in there, what all the information is says, all that good stuff. It just has the draft wording on top of it. But to get access to it, it is a paid service. So you would either pay the $600 or it would be, if someone already at your office has the software, it would be a discounted rate. Kim, I'll make sure that I send you the full breakdown of all the benefits that you can forward to the team. That'll explain everything. I know it gets very confusing, so I don't want to jump back and forth on that particular topic because it'll just go to roller coasters through your brain.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Would you like to see any other data samples? I'm happy to run some stuff here for you guys.
Hey, Sean, I got a question. Is there any training for this type of forms that we can get? Is it online or is it live or?
Good question. So there's 2 options. If we go to our website here, we do have live daily training for the contract software specifically. What I mean by that is it's really just teaching you how to use the system, how to write the document, how to do strike throughs if you want to make the text bigger, that kind of stuff, just the ins and outs of the actual system. If you want education and training on more so the language and what to do and when in certain scenarios, that's going to be under that news and education section I talked about. And then once you get there, you want to go to the top left where it has the menu and do AIR CRE contracts. And there's about 6 or 7 of them in here, but you can go through. They're anywhere from, I believe, $30 to $50, so it's relatively inexpensive, but just good information. Here's one about perils, pitfalls, and protections of disclosures. There's the lease and sale ones I talked about. Protecting your commission, always an important one that you can go into. So there's a lot of stuff that is there and available for you to access. It's just make sure you go through, read the descriptions, find the one that does work for you. And then finally, I also talked about on the very top of the page here, again, if you go to events and sponsorships, that is where we have the upcoming Form seminar, which is a full day seminar. And that's where you will learn a ton of information. That's the full day person contract strategy seminar. That will cover the leases, that will cover the sales. Really, really powerful information for those particular events.
Thank you.
Anything else that I can assist with?
Yeah, Sean, Jason Dufault here. I got a question for you. So currently I cross-reference between CoStar and Reonomy, right? And everything's got a certain desk cost, right? We were talking about everything's about 200 to 300 bucks a month or more. So in cross-referencing Reonomy and CoStar, I'm pretty successful in hunting down these people, portfolios and so forth. What's the advantage here of me looking at this and saying, okay, I'm going to add your search engine module and work with it. But I mean, at some point I can't just buy every module out there and cross-reference everybody and hope to God it works. And my desk cost is $100,000 a year, right? I mean,
totally understand.
So what say you?
So I'm just looking at your picture here. Are you based out of just the coastal region? You're doing stuff in that market, or are you also doing things outside of that area as well?
I do outside the area.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. As far as AIR goes, we're just covering really the Southern California stuff. So if you're just, if you're doing San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara stuff, we don't cover those particular markets. So there's not going to be a lot of great information for you in that regard. That's where, unfortunately, I would say if you're doing local stuff, CoStar is going to be your best bet for having a full set of data. However, the other piece being, if you are working in, say, Los Angeles, for example, in a lot of cases, we are a cheaper alternative. Not because the data and the tools are any worse, it's because we're a nonprofit trade association. We're not answering to shareholders and investors that are trying to, they want to see the stock price go up. We're just trying to provide great tools at an affordable cost. So in a lot of cases, we're able to supply those people who are, CoStar these days for an individual is anywhere from, I hear from $500 to $1,000, depending on the cost. I'm quite certain I've heard in the past that with Keller Williams commercial, you guys do get a pretty solid discount on the CoStar cost. So it might be dependent on that as well if it's really cost effective for you. There are a lot of people who use everything because, kind of like you were saying, you never know. You could miss something. We have people who come to us first and they'll maybe have our listing in our system for a week or two to market to our members, and then they'll go to other services and vice versa. There's just kind of people who have their preferences, and whoever gets the data first wins kind of mentality. And so if you do want to have everything, that's when you just have to pay the cost to make sure that you do get all of the data that is available. So it just really depends on the scenario. But to answer your question bluntly, mostly it comes down to cost. We definitely provide great information. It just depends on if we have the market coverage for you, as well as the total data set that you need.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Yeah, I got one more question.
No problem.
Is that a annual subscription or is it just monthly, month to month?
It would be an annual subscription for the full membership. So it would be a full yearly commitment. And then again, you would have the initiation fee, which is the $200. But then once that year is over with, it's just the monthly membership dues going forward. Also, if it's a case where you join today and then you have a colleague from your office who joins, 3 or 4 months from now, we'll fluctuate the rate based on that. So it could be a scenario where if you get more people out of your office that do join, your pricing could be lowered due to that situation.
Okay, one more question. The $600 for download, is that separate from the membership fee or is it included?
So if you are a full member, the contracts would be included as part of that. But if you are just looking to go forward with the contracts themselves, that's where the $600 cost comes into play. As a full member, you have full access to all the data services, the email services, the contracts. Again, it's a very long list of things. I'll make sure that Kim has that and can pass that along to everybody so that you can see the full details. And like I said early on, call me if you want to just sit down one-on-one. We can cover everything, make sure you have a full understanding of what's going on and that this is something that would be valuable for your business.
Was any other questions?
Yeah, other than, I'd be honest with you, I worked with AR a few times and it's been very nerve-wracking because it's a passive way of doing things, basically if you don't say anything, the contract pushes through. Is there a contract that AR has that's not passive, or everything's pretty much written in a passive way?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I have an answer for you on that. I'll be very upfront. I do not practice brokerage, and I don't want to go down that path of giving you incorrect legal information. If you are able to, you can always reach out to our our team. They might be able to give you some details on that specifically. And maybe I'll make a note and I can reach out to you specifically afterwards. If you want, or you're able to, if you put your email address in the chat box, I can try to reach out to you and get your question just so I can pass along.
That's the only thing that prevents me from using AIR. I mean, some of these brokers, when you talk to them car form, they're like, oh, that's like little kid stuff. You know, it's like, you know, they'll put you down. you wanna be with the big boys, you gotta use AIR. Okay, you know.
Right.
So
yeah, it definitely is the mentality for sure. It's not uncommon. I hear that same thing. And the documents are really written in a way to respect all parties as much as possible. Both the brokers, the leasee, the leaseor, all that stuff. And sometimes they're a little more vague because, you know, they want to make sure that they're covering their tracks in certain manners and leaving some things a little bit more open. But I totally get where you're coming from.
thank you.
Sam, it looks like you're driving. Do you want me to put your email in the chat?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Your Gmail?
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
Excellent, Sam. Anything else I can answer for anybody? Well, again, everybody, I sincerely appreciate all your time here today. And I'll, if you have more questions, you want to reach out to me individually. I know I keep repeating this over and over, but do not hesitate to do so. I'll do what I can to assist you as quickly as possible.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate the time. Thank you for the presentation. And if you want to share anything with us, in addition, just send it to Kim and we're going to send to the group. Sean Pullin with AIR CRE. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Guys, anything else you want to share, bring up?
Hi, Meny. How are you? It's David Yashar.
David Yashar, how are you?
Good. Todo está bien. How are you? Everything well? I wanted to just put the reminder on a couple of, if I may, take a couple of minutes. We have a listing that is going to go to 10x on an auction, and that was signed about a week ago. And this is a listing that, you know, between Sam, myself, and the team in La Mirada, it's called the La Mirada Promenade. The shopping center consists of about roughly 18,000 square feet on an acre of land. It is anchored by Taco Bell. We wrap around Taco Bell. Taco Bell is not a part of. This seller, you know, I've done business with him in the past, and when he sells, he sells. So there's a commitment to sell this. And we have a lot of people that have already called on it. Our auction day is set for November 14. That's a fantastic day. Great day, in fact. If somebody does come forward, of course, if they have an exchange or they have to close the deal quickly, you can take it off auction, but that's just a big, big exception. This property is going to probably, once it's stabilized and the deal where we feel where it could be done at, it's going to end up somewhere between a 7 and an 8 cap, between a 7 and an 8 cap. And with the market shifting, this seller knows exactly what to do and where, you know, land on the price. So if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. Glad to answer any questions and send you a marketing package, video, a lot of good photos, a lot of good stuff, good information, why you want to, you know, bring your clients over, or you may consider doing this deal yourself, you know. The second property is an industrial property. I know I get asked left and right for industrial. We have one, actually, Eric is showing it right now as we speak, buyer one, potential buyer one, buyer two. This is located in downtown LA. Just a little bit on the east side, just off the 10 freeway, 1623 Compton Avenue. We have priced this one. Of course, it's not an auction. This one is priced at $3,495,000, about 21,000 square feet of land, building just north of 10,000 square feet. Perfect for an owner user. It is occupied by a tenant, but they will be leaving in approximately 11 months or, you know, possibly less. And last but not least, we were under contract in this triplex. Unfortunately, The buyer, kind of felt there's a lot more to do than he planned on doing. Triplex, very close to USC, about a mile away, for only $695. Seller inherited this property. They want to really get this property sold. Possibility of putting an ADU, so maybe making it 4 units. Again, the address on this is 140 West 47th Street, and that is in LA. Triplex, close to USC. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, David, and team. Good job, guys. Who else? Anything you have to share or any needs? Oh, we have this fine group on the chat.
Meny, just a suggestion. Is there a way you can start this group meetings like at 1:30 instead? I mean, if everybody's okay with it, obviously, or you're okay with it. Because that's like around lunchtime. And it's like I have to like get out of the lunch meeting to basically come to this meeting. It's very difficult. I don't know if everybody else is okay with it. I mean,